Hey there, we're going to be installing a Quantum Fuel Systems drop-in replacement for my KTM 500 EXC. Mine's a 2015, but this applies to 2013 all the way up to 2022, I believe, with the same tank, but you should just check Quantum Fuel Systems for their selection tool. It's quite straightforward. I've got the tank off the bike. That's really one bolt, one electrical connector, and the fuel connector. And then we'll just start from here. So I'll show you how to take the pump out of the tank. And to do that, just gonna need a few wrenches. You're gonna need a 6mm, a 13 and a 17. And we'll go ahead and get going. Okay. So the first order of operations here, let's get this electrical connector undone. And this is where you're gonna get the tank all the way, or the pump all the way out of the tank. These should be not very tight, especially if you're using a non-factory tank like this one. Happens to be a Ultrabus, because it just threads into plastic here. And so you want to be real careful about how tight you get these things in there. So they really shouldn't be very hard to get out. Now if you're installing it from new, you'll get to that here in a second. We'll get the new pump in. But for now, just got to loosen these up. Now the reason I'm replacing this pump is more preventative maintenance. I'm doing a trip to Baja. So I don't want to be left stranded, so I figured I'd put in a good high quality fuel pump. My OEM hasn't given me any trouble, but you know, at 180 some odd hours of hard riding, I just really want to change it out, just not take any chances. So here I'm going to leave this little fuel connector together, and all you do is you just loosen this up. This is exactly the same if it's your factory tank or the aftermarket tank. There's really no difference at all here. And that's how easy it is. So that's the piece that you disconnect off the bike, right? Quick release. And again, it's very, very light. None of this stuff has to be tight. And the problem is if you tighten it too hard, it's going to be really, really tough to get off later. Or you could crush these rings here. Now the kit comes with all new ones, so that's not a concern. But I'd rather do it right. Now I'm going to choose to leave this all attached together. This is a crimp fitting. It's a Oetiker clamp. And there's a little pinch tool to get these in. I really like these better than the worm drive. They seem to hold up a little bit better. So I'm going to try and keep this together. And now the kit does come with everything you need, so there's really no issues here. So the next step here, just positioning this tank here like this, so I can get this out. Now it's all attached and it's quite long, so you'll see what I mean. But you just snake it carefully, try not to bang anything, or you gotta twist and turn it, and then it should come out. So this is what the factory one looks like. You can see that filter is quite black. That's the carbon in the brushes probably that's you know, kind of wearing in and clogging that filter. So that filter should be serviced. Now this one was done probably 50 hours ago or so. Still got quite a bit of life left in it probably, but the drop-in pump has everything you need. So let's open this box. It's well packaged. Survived the trip up from the States to Canada here, and really only took a couple of days. I was quite impressed about how fast I got it. You can see too, like this is like quite a bit more pliable. Like it just seems a little bit softer. It's new too, so that's good. But everything's high quality. I mean, it's, you know, I'm gonna say it's OEM or better. You even have the green gaskets here, which are quite nice. The threading is super good. Like, I mean, I can't tell from this or OEM, so that's a good thing for sure. So you can see this is what the nut looks like. And then we're just going to need to snake that in. So I'll just show you. This is the factory one. It's a little grimy, you know, could stand to be changed. It's It's not new for sure. So that's what all of that looks like. So very, very similar. So if you're worried about OEM quality or not, I'm not really concerned, and I'm pretty fussy with these things. Get rid of this box. And like I said, it did come with a new hose. Now it's quite a bit longer. I think they expect you to trim that and recrimp. I'm going to reuse my old one. There's nothing wrong with it. The gasket seal, presuming everything is good here, should seal up. And the threading is exactly the same, as you can see. There's not really any concern here at all. So you got to snake this in. Let me show you what I'm going to do here. So you got to get this bad boy snaked in here, which is where we came out. And then we got to bring it up through these holes that are right there. See those holes? Now I'm going to clean that because that's quite dirty. But you got to get it through there. And it's a bit of a game because it is pretty flexible. Gravity's your friend here. Wipe some of this filth off just so we get a good mating surface. Not be too worried about getting junk in the tank because that's the last thing you want. And let's give this a try. Now the connector goes up so that it should sit like this in the tank, okay? And the small outlet here is at the top, the way the tank is oriented. So let's see if we can get there. Put it in, twist it. Just being mindful of everything. Looking at the orientation of this here. Get the filter in. Okay, now we're about halfway in. This isn't hard, guys. This is just, you know, don't push. Got a lot of electrical connectors, got a lot of stuff in here. Let the gravity do its job. Take a peek here through the top, use my wrench, kind of get it around this corner, open up, drop this wrench in there, there we go, got that dropped in there. Now, just gonna wiggle this in, almost there, at the bottom. Now, the tricky part. So, there's a technique where you wrap a string around the outlet. You gotta get it right over here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get a pick. So I can grab it potentially. Get a straight one like this. Pull this around so you can see a little bit. Move this around, put in a pick. Like I said, gravity's your friend here. Okay, very near. So I can just poke at it. Getting somewhere. Gravity's not cooperating today. one side right there. Grab the other pick. Fail me not. Right on. When I get this far, I'm going to start threading this. I don't want to lose it back in there. So, this isn't coming out quite as far, so I'm just going to start snugging some of this up. No, that's what happens, right? Drop the wrenches, screw goes flying. That's what working in the garage is all about. Okay, so you can see when I tighten that down, it's starting to come in. And I just center that. And before anything gets too tight in here, I do want to spin this on because there's a bit of a shoulder to it. And I'm not using a lot of pressure here. The worst thing you can do is use a lot of pressure. You can always go back and tighten it down, give it a little more. If something's leaking or whatnot, okay. Find the orientation of your tank here. Okay, go. So that's facing the back because that's where it's going to go, right? Taking this one again. Now I'm looking. These gaskets are squished. This is good. It's tight. It's not going anywhere. Now, my wood screws. There's 4 of them. So, let me start this up. Okay. Now, I like to put them in the corners. This was clean, so I'm good with that. Just hand tighten these right now. I prefer pushing on this, letting the gasket squish a little bit, because I find that you don't want to start gnawing away at the initial threads. So you don't have to push very hard, but I think it's totally worth doing. And then I hand thread these in. And they're starting to grab, which is good. There's obviously no real torque setting for any of these. You just want to squish the gasket a little bit. There's just no sense in going tighter than you need to. Okay, you can see gap's closed, the seal is squished. That's really all you're trying to do. And I like to push on this just to see if there's any wiggle. This is good. That's it. All you got to do. So there you have it, guys. Fuel pump installed. Okay. I'm going to put the tank on the bike. If you've never done this part, this is the beauty of KTM. A lot of these off-road bikes too. Super, super straightforward to get these service items on and off the bike. Just got to watch you're not pinching any wires. Got to give this a wiggle. So check, this is clean. Obviously this is new. So I would just put this in, and there's a little bit of dielectric grease on mine. Seems to be just fine. And click, gotta hear the click. It's a good weather pack connector here. So this is just some little bit of silicone grease. Just a small dab. You don't want to put a lot in here. It's unnecessary. It's going to cause a mess. Move this up. Now, very important. Push down the connector. Align it all. Click and go. Okay. That's together. That's good. I'm going to put it in there. Obviously it's not full. It's not going to leak here. I don't have enough gas in it. But I can look here. Okay, seeing if there's any leaks, drips. It's perfectly dry. Wiggling this just to see this is good. Now, let's turn the key, let's see what happens. Heard it prime. Any leaks? This is when it's under pressure. I check here, even though I didn't do anything with this. Check here. Let's hit the starter. Got it running. Gas cap, of course. We've got the rubber grommet. Goes in here in the tank. Grab this. And this is it's a Torx 25. Take this up. Again, I don't over torque anything here. Just light touch. Here. Check connectors, good, nothing's pressed. This connector's good, it's in its happy place, it's not going to get fouled by the seat. Turn that puppy down. Grab this. So that's it. Just gotta clean up. That's what you gotta do. Get rid of some of this stuff. We're gonna go for a ride after that. So thanks a lot to Quantum. Making a good product, easy to install, no complications, no fuss, no muss. Super easy to do. I gotta get on the trail. I gotta go. See you later.